As you come to your mat, I'd like you to start in an easy seated position, recognizing that for all of us, that may be a different position. So if you have a sore knee that's creating an issue this morning, know that you're welcome to sit in a Vajrasana or a Virasana on your block. You're welcome to sit on your blanket or your mat, whatever feels good, any props you need. A lot of times students will resist putting a prop underneath their hips. And I really want to encourage you to consider doing that. So we're going to do a little experiment at the beginning. If you are on a prop, I want you to go ahead and start pressing your sit bones away from your heels and lifting up through your heart and settling in. If you are not on a prop, then I would like you instead to, with your legs crossed, notice your pelvic rim. And we want that pelvis to be pulling forward so you have a low back curve. We want to relax the mid-back area and have you start to use those erector spinae muscles. Our yoga teacher trainees should be aware of what those are. The erector spinae muscles that help support, but we want you to isolate the low back muscles, the low back erector spinae. So play with that, pushing the pelvis away from the sit bones. And if you can't do that easily when you're not sitting on a prop without forcing the mid-back to curl and having to really work to lift the chest, then you need to come up and give yourself a little bit of space. Now, how high do I go? I don't want you to go up so high that you lose all of the external rotation in your thighs. We do want in Sukhasana here to feel that external rotation so that the knees can start to relax, but we feel the muscles working and opening up. As you find that position for yourself, let your eyes close and let your breath begin to deepen. And to start, bring that breath to a nice, even in and out pattern. As you work to come to that nice, even in and out pattern, I wanted to let you know that today's class is designed around healthy hips and a healthy low back. My favorite place to sit in our family room is a big old sofa, big old leather sofa, and my feet don't touch the ground correctly in that sofa. And so I tend to really curl my pelvis when I sit in it. If you are like me, and many of us do that as we sit, and you've been doing it too much as you're binge watching things, or if you're sitting too much in front of a computer, that kind of thing, you might be feeling it in your low back or even in the front of your hips, your hip flexors, all right? So today we want to try to help make those feel a little bit better, a little healthier. Now, hopefully you found that nice, even in and out breath pattern, and I want to ask you to change it up a little bit. In order to bring some relaxation to this, we're going to use a breath that extends the exhale, even just by one count. So take a nice deep full breath in and then drop your jaw and exhale fully and forcefully. Inhale again in, and then exhale, dropping the jaw and pushing it out. And then one more time. Inhale up, drop that jaw and exhale that air out. And then let the breath return to normal. And just notice, did that bring to just those 3 breaths, extending that exhalation, help to relax the body a little bit? If so, know that you can drop into that. For most of us, even one little beat longer on the exhale will help us to relax. Now I've shared with you why I created this class. I'd like you to bring to your mind's eye with your eyes closed. What brought you to your mat this morning? What is it that you are seeking in this class? See yourself achieving that and know that you have everything you need within you to achieve that vision. We're here en masse in a community to practice together in the yogic tradition, but it's your practice. Make it yours. Own it today. Bring your hands together at your heart center. And keeping the eyes closed, gently bow your head. You can lift the hands gently so that the index fingers touch the forehead if you can't easily touch the forehead when you bend your neck. Just moving that from the heart to the head, from the heart to the head. So the intention is in both places and you're able to stay focused throughout your class today. With an inhale, lift your head up. And as you exhale, let the eyes flutter open and the hands come down around the knees. From here, go ahead and bring your arms out in front of you and take your right arm underneath your left. Bring the arms up and find your eagle arm position. Notice what happened to the back as you did that, and see if you can continue to press those sit bones away from the heels, release the mid back, lift up through the shoulders, and then draw the elbows further up, looking through your forearms. Your hands might not want to wrap. They may just come parallel to each other. You might be able to bring the backs of the hands together. It might just, find what works for you here. One more breath. And then gently unwind those arms and roll the shoulders out. Float those arms up and draw the shoulder blades back and in, and then take the other arm underneath. Bind those arms together and lift the elbows up. Take a nice deep breath in and out, pulling those rib points down and in, relaxing the shoulders down the back. And unwind those arms when you're ready and roll the shoulders the other direction. We're going to take the arms out to the sides, and wherever your legs are, I want you just to press down evenly, creating this nice foundation for you to then inhale and lift the arms up. Perhaps your eyes will lift up, starting to open the neck. And then exhale and reach towards the center of the room. You might find that your hips only like for you to come reaching out. Like I feel this all through the sides of my hips. If you have the freedom, let the hands float down and coming to your tented fingers. Press actively into the floor and try to draw the fingers back, pulling your heart through, which without dropping your head should intensify this stretch through the low back and the hips for you. You can creep the fingers out further if you find as you're here breathing that you have the sensation and the ability to do that. Take a few breaths here, just reaching, keeping that back nice and flat so we're isolating it in the low back and the outer hips. Some of you might even be feeling it in the inner hips. We don't want you feeling it through the shoulders and the neck, so do whatever you need to do to release that here as you breathe. With your next inhale, go ahead and walk the hands back up by the knees. And you can draw the hands underneath the knees, bringing the knees up. Take the feet out in front of you. If you're on a prop, go ahead and come off of that prop. Take it off to the side so you'll have it when you want it later, but it's not in your way now. And then pivot yourself so that you can come all the way down onto your back. As you come down and lay on your back, Kat and I will at times be doing different levels of these poses. So don't let that disturb you, all right? As you come down onto your back, bring your arms up into cactus. So bending the elbows, laying the arms flat on the ground. Then take your feet out as wide as your mat. Find the edges of the mat with the outer edges of your feet and let the knees come in and tent into each other. Notice how that changes the action in the low back here. Take a few breaths here, just noticing the back, the pelvis, the belly. They're all connected and they all have to do with how comfortable your back and your hips feel. And you can play a little bit with some pelvic tilts here, pressing the belly button towards the floor and then pressing the belly up towards the sky. So you're actually doing supine cat-cows here in a way that should be very friendly to most of our backs, having the knees in, tenting on each other while we are pressing through this. Just a little exploration of the back, seeing how it feels and realizing that when we move to our cat-cow, we're not simply pressing the belly up and down. The action should move all the way from the sit bones up through the shoulders. And you should feel this now, feeling it both through the shoulders on the floor and the hips on the floor. Can you feel that, honey? Mm-hmm. And then still this position and pull the belly button down towards the spine. Let the knees rest in on each other. Close your eyes and take 3 breaths here. This is a very restful position for most of our backs. And if you're ever dealing with low back pain, is a great place to pop down and go to. The end of your 3rd breath, please don't let me rush you, even though I can't see you. I want you to draw your knees as wide apart as your ankles. So your feet are as wide apart as your mat. And then exhale and take your knees off to the right side. You're going to relax and let the left shoulder float towards the floor. It's going to want to pop up, but keep it pressing down. And maybe if your neck is doing okay, you look over to the left. As you do this and as you breathe, pull that upper left rib cage towards the floor as you stretch your knees off to the right. And breathe. This is a great release for the low back. On your next inhale, draw those knees up to the center. Make certain that the feet stay nice and wide. Bring the head back to the center. And then exhale the knees off to the left. If the neck is okay, check in with it and rotate the gaze over to the right. Keep pressing that right shoulder down. Maybe the upper back right rib cage presses down and the knees press left. Bring the head back to the center of the mat. Lift the knees back up to the center and wibble wobble your feet in so they're in line with your hips. Plant your left foot, lift your right foot up, and with the flexed right foot, draw the right ankle over the left knee. Now you can bring the left hand to your left hip and stabilize that hip down. Use your right hand to begin to press that knee away. Sorry for those of you that are staring at the bottom of my foot right now. Take a couple of breaths here, just feeling that pressure, pushing the knee away. Don't worry, we are going to go deeper in this pose in just a few minutes, so don't feel the need to rush into it. We won't be supine when we do it though, so it'll be a little juicier. And then release the knee and switch the legs out. We're just kind of warming things up before we go for the real party. Flex that left foot and with the left hand, press the left knee actively away from you. Noticing, do I feel sensation? Is this enough for me? This is always a great alternative if we're offering you pigeon or, in a few minutes, we'll do a standing version of this. And if you're like, yeah, no, thanks, tap, I'm out, then pop down here and do this version. Another breath or two. And then gently unwind those legs. Reach around and find your strap. So if you need to come up and grab that strap, go ahead. Like I said, remember a belt, your dog's leash, anything can sub in here for a strap. Coming back down onto your back and having the strap close by, draw both knees in close to the chest, grasp the shins, and holding the sacrum flat on the ground, just rock back and forth a little bit. Give yourself a nice little back rub before anything hurts, recognizing, okay, this feels good. If my back starts to hurt, I'm going to come, this is another thing I can come down and do. Now holding that right knee in nice and close to the chest, stretch the left leg out and hover through the flexed left foot. Just an inch or so up off the ground, and then keeping that right knee in nice and tight, draw that left leg down and stretch the left foot away from the right. You should feel this great groin stretch as you do that. Now hold the right knee in with the right hand, grab the strap, and then place the strap around the right arch. Try to pull that strap down close to the heel. So we're going to draw the bone back into the joint as we stretch the right leg up and straight. Now, if your leg isn't warmed up, most of us will not have warmed up before class probably. Feel free to take that leg further towards the center of the room so that you can straighten through the heel. Flex those toes and play with them a little bit. And then take the right toes out to the right side, trying to keep the left heel, or the right heel right where it is, left, right. And then come back to the center with the toes and take the toes towards the midline of the body. Notice, don't let the foot cave. Try to keep it planting as though you were stepping on the ceiling. And then bring the toes back to the midline of the body. You can take that left arm out long and press the left hand down into the ground with the straps in the right hand. Exhale the right leg out to the right side body. I'm not going to go all the way so that I don't whack my husband in the face. Now, as you press through both legs, keeping the toes and the feet active, draw that left hip down towards the ground. Beautiful. It's your abdominal muscles that are going to control this here. Keep breathing. 2 more full breaths in and out here. And then inhale the right leg back up. Again, never let me rush you. I can't see. Switch your left hand over, grasping the straps. Let the right arm float out. And take that right leg cross body, pushing actively through the heel. This is waking up that IT band. Those of the yoga teacher trainees that are on this will get the, it's a lata, not a latte, right guys? The IT is part of a larger muscular group that runs through the leg there. And then inhale and stretch that right leg up towards the ceiling. You can bend the knee and take the strap off. Draw both knees in towards the chest one more time. As you hold those shins, breathe and bring the head all the way up to the knees, and then exhale and release the head down. Now draw that left knee in nice and tight and stretch the right leg out. Again, hover that leg and engage the belly to hold it there. As you press through the heel, take that right leg down and stretch even further through the right leg. Pull that left knee in a little tighter as you press the right foot away and feel that groin stretch come in on this side. When you're ready, you can grasp your strap and place it around the arch of the left foot. Now, as I mentioned, I like it low most of the time unless we're working on something else on purpose. And the reason is that when you draw that strap down low by the leg, by the bones in the leg, you can help anchor the leg into the hip. Transfer the straps so that they're in your left hand here. And let the right arm go along to stabilize you. And then flex those left toes, play with the toes a little bit. And like we did before, trying to lift the leg and press through the heel, take the toes first out away from the body, and then come back to the center. And then take the toes in towards the midline, and then back to the center. Beautiful. Now on an exhale, let the left leg come out for that big opening. We think of this just as a hip opener, but it also is a stabilizer because you have to strengthen the core muscles to help hold you down here. Remember, all the way around the body is your core. You also are using the leg muscles here to help stabilize. So it's not just opening, it's stabilizing those hips and strengthening them. With the next breath, bring the leg back up to center. Switch those strap hands out, let the left arm float long, push through the heel, and then take the leg cross body. You'll know you've got both legs actively working when you feel the IT band. For most of us, wake up on the outside of that leg. And like Kent is doing, you'll notice he's looking over towards the left as he's stretching to his right. That's fine. Again, if you want to bring the neck in here. And then inhale, bring the knee or the leg back up and bend the knee. Take the strap off. Draw both knees in towards the chest, flatten the sacrum again. Draw the knees in nice and tight. Lift the forehead up to the knees. Exhale, releasing down. Roll over to your right side and make your way up, finding a tabletop position. From this tabletop, we're going to play with a little flow that I like to use to warm up, and I've kind of gotten away from it in the last couple of months. So we're going to play with it again. So in this flow, first set up a nice solid tabletop with the hands right underneath the shoulders, the knees right underneath the hips. Bend the elbows, and then actively, as you press the hands into the mat, lift the shoulders up and away. Press out long through the crown of the head and through the sit bones, taking a breath in and out. Then on an exhale, draw the toes together and exhale the hips down for a brief child's pose. Inhale up, finding your tabletop, tucking your toes. Exhale, lift the hips, press back, find a brief down dog. Inhale, pressing forward to plank. Exhale, drop the knees down to table. Take a breath in to reset, and then on the exhale, press right back down to your child's pose. Inhale, back up through table, tucking those toes, and then exhaling the hips and lifting them up for down dog. Inhale, forward, finding your plank, and exhale to your table. We'll do that flow one more time and see if I can get it right. Exhale, your hips down for child's pose. Inhale, up through table, tucking your toes. Exhaling, lifting your hips, finding down dog. Inhaling out to plank, and then exhaling the knees back to table. Take 5 cat-cows here now, remembering that motion on the floor. So starting with the sit bones, dropping the belly towards the ground and lifting the heart. Exhaling, curling the sacrum down and forward, pressing the spine up, dropping the head. Keep going, following your breath, moving from the sit bones forward. Remembering it might feel counterintuitive when you're doing your cat to start at the sit bones. We want to start at the chest. But if you play with starting at the sit bones, you might get a different feeling in this cat-cow. And as you finish up your cat-cows here, just quickly and briefly, lift your right leg up, stretching through that heel, pull the belly up, stretch out through the left arm. Find your stability here, cross body, drawing everything in close, and then come back to a neutral table. Stretch out long through that left leg, pull the belly up, press the mat away, stretch the right arm out long. Draw your left thigh and your right arm in closer to the midline of your mat, and then come back to neutral. Bring your right foot forward, and we're in a low lunge position, right? So press that left leg back just a little bit further here, and inhale, sweeping the eyes and the arms up for your low lunge. Exhaling your hands down to frame that front foot and switching the legs out, drawing that right leg back and pulling the left leg forward. Scissor those legs together. Inhale the arms up. Maybe the eyes rise up. And then exhale the hands back down. Switch those legs out again, remembering as you increase your intensity, you're always welcome to move from a stepping in and out to a hopping in and out. Inhaling, bringing the arms back up. This time, pull the ribs in, tuck the left toes, and stretch through the left leg, finding a nice low high lunge, if that makes sense. So stretch through that left leg and lift yourself up. Beautiful. And then exhale and release the hands down to the mat. Now, when you pressed up, did you find that your low back hurt? If so, I want you to pull your belly in as we do this one. So stretch through the left leg, get your runner's lunge. As you press through the left heel, pull the belly in, stretch through the heart, making the spine long. Keep all that going and lift up and see, does it change a little bit your lunge? Then exhale and draw the hands down. Now, like I said, you're welcome to just step switch if you'd like, or you're welcome to hop switch those legs out. Draw that right knee down to the ground. Lay the right toes flat. Inhale the arms up. And then tuck those right toes. Stretch through the right leg and notice that low back. Pull the left hip back and the right hip forward. Stretch through the back heel. Exhale, coming back down. This time we'll come to it from our runner's lunge. So dig those right toes in, stretch through that back leg. Lift through the heart as you scissor those legs. Keep all that length in the spine. Pull the belly up and in and use that to support your low back. Breathe. Exhale your hands down to frame your front foot. And this time step forward and find a nice deep knee bend, forward fold. So let the chest come as close to the thighs as it can. Let the head relax towards the floor and breathe. Now, if it feels okay here, your hands can come up off the mat. You can grab opposite elbows. keeping the legs nice and deeply bent. What we want you to do here is to begin to think of hinging from the hips, letting the back just cascade forward. Go ahead and let the hands press down to the mat. Now, as you press into the mat or a block, remember if your hands don't want to touch, just grab a block. As you do that, begin to lift from the hips, keeping the head nice and low, starting to straighten the legs. Bend the knees again and take a breath. One of the things that we see when students want to straighten the leg is that they actually overemphasize the use of the hip flexors to get here, and you don't realize it until you're in a different position. So we want to use the backs of the legs, letting the head drop, lift those sit bones, press the feet into the ground, and see if you can straighten the legs a little bit more. Inhale, halfway up for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Inhale again, halfway up. Exhale and fold. Bring the hands to the hips, pull those elbows together, bend the knees slightly and rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. I'm going to pivot here. You can stay there. We're going to do a sun salutation. So inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms all the way up. Exhale, forward fold, swan diving. Remember, it's fine to keep a bend in those knees if you need to. Inhale, halfway up, flattening your back and pressing through the sternum, lifting the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, and find your variation of plank. It can be a full out plank here, or it can be a knees down modification, your choice. Whichever one you choose, pull that belly in. Exhale, chaturanga. Perhaps you hover for a moment, and then exhale, come all the way down. In this first one, we're going to head to Sphinx for our back bend. So draw your elbows underneath your shoulders. Now start at your toes, pressing the toenails into the ground. Lift the kneecaps up, press the pelvis in, pull the belly up and in, and then pull your heart forward. Relax the shoulders onto the back as much as you can, and breathe. Very active pose. 2 more breaths here in this Sphinx. The end of your second breath, bring your hands back by your rib cage. Tuck your toes, press up through your tabletop, and find down dog. Ooh, I love it. Can't get a reverse plank. That was beautiful. Take a couple of breaths here and play with your down dog. Go ahead and take this little pause in your sun A. You can bend one knee, straighten the other leg, whatever works for you. Some people like to rock those hips back and forth. Whatever helps. What I want you to bring your attention to now, though, is that you're pressing your hands away from you and you're pushing your weight into the back body. So if that means bending the knees so that you can push that mat actively away, go for it. Let your gaze come to the front of your mat and then step or hop up, finding your forward fold. Inhaling halfway when you arrive, exhaling and folding. One big breath all the way up, nice strong legs. And exhale, hands to heart center. Keep going. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold, swan diving down. Inhale, halfway up for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, and find your plank. Take a breath here, stretching through this plank, pulling the belly up and in, and then exhale, chaturanga. You might hover and pull through for up dog, or you might go all the way down for baby cobra, your choice. And when you're ready, either press through table to down dog or simply press back and find down dog. Couple of breaths here, 3 to 5 breaths, settling in, home base. At the end of your next breath, go ahead and bend your knees, bringing the knees down to the mat. We won't finish this sun A. Stretch all the way out and come down onto the mat. So we're headed to locust. Some of you know where that is. Drawing the hands back by the hips. I want you first to press the toenails in again like we did in that Sphinx and lift the kneecaps up. Then press the pelvis towards the floor. Flip your palms so they're pressing down into the mat. And then as you press into the palms, roll the shoulders up. Inhale, roll the heart forward. And now we're focusing on using these little muscles all along the spine to lift us up and to keep that back neutral. Exhale and draw the head down. Slide the hands so that the thumb is towards the ground and the fingers are pointed towards your toes. This time we're going to let the feet join the party. So as you inhale, press through the pelvis, lift through the back body, and draw up, finding your locust or Shalabhasana position. And as you're ready, exhale part way. Inhale, rise all the way back up again. And then exhale and release. You can stack those hands and lay one cheek. It doesn't matter which cheek down on top of those. If the back got a little tweaky there, go ahead and bend the knees and let them windshield wiper back and forth. If some of you love your locust pose and you're like, really, we're only doing two, then go ahead and add another one in here. It's your practice. It's your choice. If you've got your head on your hands, go ahead and lift your head up and switch that neck out, taking advantage of opening the neck up here a little bit. And then when you're ready, we're going to slide the hands back by the rib cage, pull the elbows in nice and tight, and either press through table to down dog or reverse your plank and press back to down dog. We'll all meet there in down dog and take a couple of breaths. Get comfortable here in this down dog. The end of your next breath, go ahead and bend your knees and come to a kneeling position on your mat. I want to make certain everybody has blocks available for this next sequence. So if your blocks aren't right where you can grab them, go ahead and take a minute and grab them. Need a drink? Go ahead and grab a drink. And we will meet back on our mat. We are going to add on a little bit to a sequence that we just did. So when you're ready, come back to your mat, come back to a tabletop position. Find that tabletop. And then draw with an inhale, the right knee forward, finding your low lunge. From this low lunge, we're going to scissor those legs together, stretch through the left leg. Keep all that muscle energy you just created in the low body, stretch through the heart. Inhale, lift up, finding your high lunge, pressing through that back heel. And then exhale that left foot down and find a nice wide warrior two. Now you might notice your right knee wants to pop in, so that right hand can press that right knee out. Bring the left hand down to the left thigh and push that thigh actively open and away. Now as you scissor those legs together here in warrior two and you press the legs out apart, we're working on that openness and stability in the hips. Lift the arms up and relax the shoulders. Look out over the front palm and breathe. Bring that left hand to your left hip. Let the right hand float down and find a block. It doesn't matter where it is, just find that block. Bring it to the inside of the right foot. Press into that block. Let your weight mostly rest on the right hand and the right foot. Then stack the left hip on top of the right. Try to draw the left shoulder back over the right and take the left arm straight up. So if we're working on side body, often we would stretch out this way. But keep that arm straight and try to make one long line. You might find you're open enough to bring your right fingers to the floor. Your choice. And then bring the hands down to frame that front foot. Pivoting back, finding your runner's lunge. Stretching back, finding a plank. You choose, would you like the vinyasa or would you like to press straight back to down dog? We'll all meet in down dog. And we'll take a few breaths and then add on again. This time when you're ready, I want you to lift that left leg up, stretch out through that left leg. Now shift the momentum forward as you draw the knee in and place the foot in between the hands. Framing that foot, we're in our runner's lunge already, so you had to step forward, but you didn't have to go from low lunge to high lunge. Scissor those legs together. And hold that belly in as you stretch through the spine and then lift the arms up, finding your lunge. With an exhale, open up, finding warrior two. That right foot spins out and flat. Beautiful. Let the left hand encourage the left knee out over the second toe of the left foot. Let the right hand come and press back on that right thigh. Relax the shoulders. And when you're ready, take the arms out long again, look out over the left fingertips and breathe. Take the right hand to the right hip. Let the left hand float down, finding a block. Place that block to the inside of the foot and press. So you've got your weight actively pushing down the left foot and the left hand. Keep wrapping the left buttock towards the right heel here, which will help you stack. Then pull the right hip up and over the left, the right shoulder up and over, and reach up. So we're really trying to make one straight line here from the fingertips of one hand to the fingertips of the other. You'll be glad you did this in a few moments, even if you're not right now. When you're ready, with your breath, move that block off the mat, bring that right hand down, frame that left foot, stepping back, finding your plank, and then feel free. Either take the vinyasa, take a child's pose, whatever you need. We'll all meet in down dog. And take a few breaths here. When you're ready, look forward, and behind the exhale, step or hop up, finding your forward fold. Inhale halfway up for Ardha Uttanasana when you arrive, and then exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms all the way up, always seeking stability here, and then exhale the hands down to the heart center. We're going to stay oriented this way on our mat, but we are moving to a tree pose. So take a deep breath in and out, finding that still place. Feel all four corners of both feet. Lift the toes up. As you feel that energy move up into the legs, keep all that energy and then lay the toes down. They're your brakes. They're not the thing that grips the mat like crazy, right? Hold that left foot down, finding all four corners, and then draw the right knee up so you are in Ardha Uttanasana. Take the right hand down to take the right knee out for an opener, a hip opener, and a stability. Fix your gaze on one unmoving thing, and then come back to the center. Now you can choose, we're headed to tree, so you can just grab the ankle and bring it up here into the left thigh if that feels good. Like Kent is doing, you can kickstand your foot. Just please don't land on your knee. Anywhere you'd like to go is fine. We'll take a moment here, and it's up to you what you would like to do to play with your tree today. I would like you to focus on making certain that you're pressing out through the hips to the knees for stability in this pose. And after that, it's all icing on the cake, what we want to do with our hands, right? One more nice big breath in and out here. Now, can you keep the knee lifted, or lifted if it's down low, coming back to Ardha Uttanasana? Ardha Tadasana. I always say that wrong. With that right foot flexed, float it back behind you and find a high lunge. Pull that belly in, lift through the heart and stretch the arms up. Settle into your lunge here and breathe. Float that right foot down and back, finding your warrior two. Inhale, straighten the left leg and take the arms on the next breath out towards the center of the room, floating that left arm out long, and then tick-tock your arms down. Now, hopefully your block is still available and is right where you need it. You look like you could reach that, huh? Do you want it? You'll notice Kent doesn't like that he doesn't feel comfortable with that stretch down. So he's resting his hand on his shin, but I want you to know he's not pressing down on the shin. So you can lobster claw, you can rest the hand there. You can also press against the foot, the shin to help hold you. Stretch that right arm up like we did just a few minutes ago in that deep Utthita Trikonasana. And then bend into that front knee, bring the hands down, find your runner's lunge. Keep lifting through the heart, noticing is my sacrum square to the floor. And when you're ready, press back and find your plank. You choose, would you like the vinyasa or would you like to simply press back to down dog? Take a couple of breaths. And behind your next inhale, look forward. Behind the exhale, step or hop up, finding forward fold. Inhaling halfway when you arrive. Exhale and fold. Keep lifting through those sit bones. If your hands don't want to touch, either rest your hands on your shins or a block. Press through the feet and rise all the way up. And exhale your hands to your heart center. We'll head to that tree on the other side. So stand well on the right foot, shifting your weight over there. Maybe lift the toes up, lift the hips up towards the sky. And when you're ready, that left foot floats up. Find your balance. And then use that left hand to help take the left knee out to the left side. And then come back to the center. Find stability. And when you're ready, we'll head to your variation of tree. Again, then the foot can be up nice and high. If you're not close to something and you feel unstable, then just drop that foot down and find a kickstand. Use the hip opening portion of your tree. All good. And maybe you play with the arms while you're here. Play with the belly, pulling it in. Press the sacrum towards the heels, lengthening the spine. And when you're ready, we'll bring the hands to the heart center, lift the knee, the left knee, coming back to that Ardha Tadasana. Bend that right leg ever so slightly so you can float that left leg back and find your high lunge here. A little bit of a trust move, right? Stretch through the spine and then lift up through the heart. Keep pressing through that back heel. And when you're ready, float those arms up. On your next exhale, open up, finding your warrior two. Again, check in with those knees. Make certain that the back hip is pressing back, the left hip is pressing back, the right knee is out over the second toe. Inhale, stretch the right leg straight. Continue to press into that big toe ball mound. Take the right arm towards the center of the room. And when you're ready, tick-tock those arms to 6 and 12 o'clock. In this triangle, just like in that Utthita Trikonasana, we want to keep pulling the hips down towards the heels, lengthening the spine, taking that upper arm straight up. One more breath here. And then look down towards that front foot, bend into the knee, and come back to your runner's lunge. When you find that runner's lunge, make certain that your knee is stacked over your ankle, knee is pulled in towards the midline of the body. You're pressing through the back heel and your back is long, not arched. Nice long back. Now press the sit bones towards the back heel, trying to lengthen the back even further. Step well into the right foot. Inhale, draw the left foot forward next to the right. Release the head towards the floor. Lift the sit bones towards the sky. Inhale halfway for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms all the way up. And exhale, hands down to heart center. And shake it all out. You can grab the blanket if you need it to mop off a little bit. Take a drink, do whatever you need to do. We'll meet back on our mat at the top of your mat as you're ready. Bring your hands to your hips and take your left leg, lifting it up, and just step out nice and wide, finding a wide-legged stance. We're headed to a horse pose here. So I want you to draw your left heel. I want you to draw both heels in to about a 45-degree angle, and then start to descend your hips, taking the knees out over the second toes. So really watch the body, trying to keep the pelvis going straight towards the floor. For many of us, that means because of our back, our knees will want to cave in. This isn't comfortable. So press those knees out with your hands actively as you try to descend the pelvis down. Push evenly through all four corners of the feet. Breathe. We're going to add eagle arms to this. So take the arms straight out in front of you. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back. Bring the right arm underneath the left and find your eagle arms. Now, if this is pretty intense, feel free to stay right here. This is a lot, okay? If you're okay here and you want to go deeper, keep that bottom half, that bottom stance exactly the way it is, and tilt the upper body towards the floor, coming parallel to the floor with the upper body. Keep trying to press those knees out and away like you're falling out of the horse's saddle. Lengthen that back. Breathe. Inhale, pressing up. Straighten the legs and unwind the arms. Wibble wobble the feet in. And shake it all out. Now you're thinking, there's not two sides to a horse pose, but there we do have two sides with the arms. So when you're ready, step back out long again. Get ready to get back on that horse. Bring those heels slightly in, toes pointed out. And then keeping the knees tracking over the second toes, start to descend those hips, pushing those knees out, trying to open up and stabilize. It's kind of an interesting squat we can play with here. Then when you're ready, draw the arms up, pull the shoulders onto the back, and other arm. Switching sides, pulling those elbows up, breathing. Stay here or press through the sit bones, pushing them behind you, levering your spine parallel to the ground. You should feel this pretty intensely in your thighs. And breathe. When you're ready, inhale, lifting up. Next inhale, straighten all the way up. And this time, take the arms out to 5-point star. And then wibble wobble the feet in and shake it all out. All right, again, make certain you've got a block near the top of your mat, or near the, about a third of the way on your mat. All right, we're actually going to head to Ardha Chandrasana, or half moon. And believe it or not, this is not your peak pose today, so don't get too excited. All right, so from here, we'll vinyasa our way to a warrior two. So stand at the top of your mat, finding your mountain or your Tadasana pose. Press down through those feet. Draw the shins in and pull the thighs apart. Engage the glutes. Zip up those abs. Roll the shoulders apart and away from each other. Externally rotate the upper arms. Lift up through the crown of the head. And when you're ready, inhale and stretch the eyes and the arms up. Exhale, forward folding. Inhale, halfway for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, and step back to plank. Now you're welcome to take a vinyasa here or press straight back to down dog, your choice. And take a few breaths. We're going to work in this getting to warrior two on pulling that leg forward, which is also a gauge of hip flexor strength and core strength. So lift the right leg up. Now I want you to think about on the exhale, pull the knee into the chest as high as you can, and then inhale, stretch that leg out behind you. Now this time, exhale, pull that knee in, swing the foot forward and place it in between the hands. If it doesn't make it, you just grab it with the same side hand and place it where you want it, all right? Take a big breath in, and then pivot that left foot down and windmill the arms up, finding warrior two. Take a nice deep breath. Bring your left hand to your left hip, pull the belly in, and let the right hand reach down, finding your block. We're going to take that block or a book or a soup can, whatever we've got, and stretch it out in front of us and off to the right. Cheat that left foot forward and stretch the right leg straight. Lift the left leg. Rotate left hip over right, left shoulder over right, and reach up. You got it. Keep breathing. Now, those of you that this Ardha Chandrasana is a challenge, I want you to stay here. If some of you are advanced students and you want a little more in this class, float that left hand down to the block and see if you can let the right arm float up, coming to a revolved Ardha Chandrasana. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't do it. When you're ready, bend into your right leg and stretch back, finding your warrior two. Suddenly warrior two is the resting pose. Take a nice big breath here, and then flip your front palm and add in a nice little reverse warrior and draw that left arm back behind you, finding a bind. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale back and come all the way to warrior two. Windmill the arms down to frame that front foot, stretching through to runner's lunge. And then inhale, step onto that right foot and float the left foot forward. You're in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway up for Ardha. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms all the way up. And exhale, hands down to heart center. You ready for the second side? Need a break here? When you're ready, we'll come back to the front of our mat and we'll vinyasa our way to warrior two. So build that Tadasana pose. Good idea. Build that Tadasana pose. And then inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms up, always looking for freedom and mobility. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale and fold. Step to your plank. And then you choose, either press straight back to down dog or take the vinyasa. We'll all meet in our down dog. Now this time, we're gonna float. It should, just use your opposite leg. It should be your left leg if we're on the same page. Stretch through that heel. Draw the left knee up into the chest as you exhale. Stretch back out long. Exhale, draw that knee in, sweep the foot forward. Use the same side hand to grab that foot and pull it forward. Press out through your runner's lunge, taking a breath here, and then pivot the right foot down and find your warrior two. Take a big breath in and out, checking in on your stance, pushing that left knee back and away over the second toe. When you're ready, the right hand is going to come down to the right hip. The left hand is going to go down and find a block. Take that block slightly out in front of you. Off to the left a little bit. Press the hand firmly into the block. Stand well on the left foot, floating your weight up towards the sky. Draw the right leg up. Now start to stack right hip over left, right shoulder over left, reaching all the way up. You're welcome to stay here, or you can draw your right hand down. See if you can square the hips off and press up to a revolved half moon. Wherever you are, step back, finding your warrior two. This time, simply draw the feet together and come back to the top of your mat. Shake it all out. Nicely done. All right, we're going to need our strap for this next little pose. And we're simply going to step into our warrior two pose to get here. All right. So go ahead and step your feet, about 3.5 feet apart. Bend into the right knee. Make certain the right knee is right over the right ankle. Take a moment here to set up your warrior two base. Then having your strap, your belt, a bathrobe, towel, whatever, in your right hand. Draw the right arm behind you. I just realized I forgot to do the shoulder opener on the other side. We'll see if we can pull that in. Sorry, guys. All right. Take the strap in your right hand and feed it back behind you to your left hand. Then with the back of your left hand, I'm going to turn around so you can see my back. With the back of your left hand right at your sacrum, let the belt drop down the outside of your right leg. Exhale and draw your right arm down towards the floor like we did in that Utthita Trikonasana early in class. You can drop your head, drawing your shoulder down, and reach through, finding your strap. Then try to bring your right elbow up to your right knee and slide the strap a little closer to your knee. Pressing knee into elbow, elbow into knee, stack hips and shoulders, and lift your gaze up. Now we like to joke that the strap is not a thong, so make certain it is around the thigh, not in the butt crack. And breathe. As you use that leverage of this strap, you should be able to get the left shoulder to open just a little bit more. And then when you're ready, you can release that strap and you can pivot back and find your your runner's lunge here. Again, you choose. Would you like to unwind it all with a vinyasa? Go for it. Hands come flat, leg stretches out. Otherwise, just go to child's pose or down dog. We'll meet you there in a moment. If you're taking the vinyasa, press down to the floor and pull through for your choice of back bends. Exhaling back and finding down dog. Take a couple of breaths. And behind the next inhale, look forward. Behind the exhale, bend the knees and step or hop up to forward fold. Inhale halfway when you arrive, flattening out the back, lifting the sit bones. Exhale and fold all the way. Inhale, sweep eyes and arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And release the shoulders for a moment. We'll switch that on to the other side. So again, making certain that you've got your strap handy. I want to add the shoulder opener in on this side. As you're ready, step your feet wide apart. We had the right foot forward before, so we want the left foot forward this time. You gonna switch sides? Okay. Now we're gonna add that little shoulder opener in here. So take the arms out, finding warrior two. Inhale, straighten that left leg. And then flip the left arm up and reach back and over. And that right arm comes around behind you, looking for the left hip. Big breath in and out. And then stretch back into your warrior two position. Now, if you need to reach down and grab your strap, go for it. You can use this one if you want. And I'm going to come up here with the strap in the right hand. Feed it through so you've got both left and right hand on the strap. The backs of the hands towards your back. Place the back of the right hand in the sacrum, pull the belly up, and let that strap float down on the outside of your left leg. Then exhale, lift through the spine and stretch down towards the floor. I don't know if you could hear it in the mic, in the headsets. My whole back just went, felt so good. Reach through and find the other end of the strap. Now pull that strap apart and draw the left elbow up to the left knee. You'll notice my right shoulder is really far forward. So I'm going to stamp through that right foot, through that right hip, and then pull that right shoulder back and pivot my hips forward to get the lift I need here. If your neck feels okay, feel free to look up. If it doesn't, you can keep the neck neutral. It's all good. Couple of deep breaths here. And then release the chest back towards the floor, let go of the strap, and take it off to the side. Hands come down to frame that front foot, stretching through a runner's lunge, and you decide, are you taking the vinyasa or just meeting us in down dog? Once we all meet in down dog, we'll drop those knees, come down, and take a child's pose. And you can make this child's pose as quiet or as active as you need. So if you want a quiet one, perhaps your hands will flip palms towards the ceiling, coming back by your hips. If you want a more active pose, then the arms will stay stretched out and you're going for the shoulder opener, pressing the hands into the mat, lifting the elbows up, hollowing out the armpits. Your choice, just let the breath come back to a nice neutral, even in and out breath here. With an inhale, bring your hands back in front of you and slide up through a tabletop. Step your right foot forward, then step your left foot forward, finding a forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep eyes and arms all the way up. And exhale, hands down to heart center. Shake it all out and grab a block. We're going to turn so that we're facing the camera. You can stay oriented whichever way you would like. We're going to add that little figure 4 move or supine pigeon that we did at the beginning of class and change our relationship to space. All right. So that supine pigeon is a great way to open up and flatten out the low back. I'm laughing because our dog is right there staring at us. All right. If you want to take that tree and add in a little balance challenge, we're going to stand up, shift our weight onto our left leg, lift up through the hips here, and then draw the right ankle up over the left knee. Now your right hand can reach down and start to press actively that right knee away from you. Think of pushing it towards the floor and behind you as you flex that right foot. I feel it right here. Breathe. Now some of us will be right here just playing with balance, playing with opening that hip, and that's cool. If you want to go a little further, bring the hands to the heart And then as you exhale, slowly start to bend that left leg, keeping the chest up high. We're drawing, so I'm not curling. I'm lifting through the heart and I'm drawing myself down. Now you might find that you can bring your knees or your elbows down to your shin. You might find that your hands can come to rest on a block. Some of you I know that are out there can reach the floor and be working on wrapping the right foot around the left arm. Wherever you're at, take one more breath. And then slowly start to lift back up. And place the right foot down on the floor and shake those legs out. Stand well on that right foot. You know what's coming and you know the variations you can choose, right? So lift that left leg up, draw the left foot over the right knee, press that left knee down and away, pull the belly up to stabilize. You're welcome to stay here or to draw the hands to the heart center and start to descend those hips down, keeping the heart lifted even as you fold. You want to feel this not in the knee, but in the hip. Go as low as you can, perhaps letting the hands float to the ground, a block, maybe just enjoying your balance. And when you're ready, on an inhale, we'll lift back up, stretch the leg out, and shake those legs out. Nice. If you turned, come back on your mat so you're oriented the long way on your mat and make your way down to a tabletop position again. Now from this tabletop position, I want to make certain that you have a block and or a blanket or pillows available. We're going to head to a pigeon prep and I'm going to offer you a couple of different variations. I'm actually going to flip so you can see different sides of the same pose. So the first variation that we'll do is the ankle under the left hip, the right ankle under the left hip, hun, all right? So press forward, finding your tabletop, and then stretch your legs out, finding a plank. Now I want you to draw the right knee up to the outside of the right wrist and lay the right foot down underneath the left hip. Press those toenails actively down into the ground as you stretch the left leg long. If you have problems with your knees, this might be the pose, the pigeon prep pose that is right for you. What you want to work on is getting the back of the back flat to the mat and then releasing over that front leg. You might need to bring a blanket or a block in underneath your arms, whatever works for you. Now, those of you that this variation of pigeon prep doesn't bring you enough sensation and openness in here, I'm going to offer you a variation. So dig those left toes in, lift the hips up, swing the right foot forward in between the hands, walk the right foot over towards the left hand. I know I need a block here underneath my right hip. I'm going to flex that right foot and start to actively hinge my hips towards the floor until finally I can descend down onto a block. Now I don't want you to roll to the right to get here. I want you to be able to stay with the hips square, foot flexed. You might need to keep the chest lifted, or you might be able to begin to draw down over the leg. Whichever variation you took, hold that for 2 more breaths. The end of your second breath, dig your back toes in, stretch that leg straight. If you've got the knee back, then go ahead and just draw your right foot back by your left. If you had the shin forward, flex that foot, shimmy the foot over by the right hand, and then stretch it back so we're in line. Exhale and press back to down dog and take 2 breaths. Now, most likely the variation you took on the first side is the variation that will serve the other side. So when you're ready, press to a plank. Then draw that left knee forward and you choose either draw the left foot under the right hip, toes flat, or draw the left foot in line with the thumbs. Then walk the left foot over to the right hand, Flex that left foot and start to hinge. Make certain that the left knee comes to the outside and behind the left elbow. And again, my hips are a little too tight, so I just land on a block to help me line up. How do I know if I'm lined up? If I cannot keep from rolling to one side, then I need to come out of it and take a different variation, your choice. And when you're ready, exhale and descend over that front leg. Couple of breaths here. And then tuck those back toes and make your way out of this pose. If your leg is back, just draw the left foot back by the right. If you've got the shin forward, lift up through the hips, start to tick-tock that left foot over, and then step back. Exhale the knees down to the floor and come to a seated position. Oh, yay, thank goodness. All right. Now, from here, we're going to move to Baddha Konasana. So this is another tail pose that will help you isolate the low back muscles from the mid back muscles. So pull your feet forward so the soles of the feet are pressing into each other and lift up through the heart. And notice if you're having to over effort through the heart to get here. And if so, then we're going to grab that blanket that we used at the beginning of class, lift the hips up onto that blanket, roll the pelvis forward. Now I can bring the feet in a little closer, sit up more easily, and get the stretch through the groin that I'm looking for here. Pull the belly in and breathe. You're welcome to stay here in this Baddha Konasana, or take your peace fingers and wrap them around your big toes. And as you bend your elbows to the outside, nice flat back descends towards the feet. And breathe. Bring your hands to the outside of your feet, lifting up through the heart. Bring the hands underneath the thighs, lifting the knees to the sky. If you took a prop, go ahead and come off that prop, moving it back off to the side of your mat. Grab a block and have that available, and grab your strap and have that available. We're going to come all the way down onto our back and stretch out on the mat. Now, while you're here stretched out on the mat, I'd like you to take your strap. Just let your back reset here, get nice and flat. If you want to go back to that tented knee position because that feels better for your back, go for it. And my strap was all in a knot. We're going to take that strap and feed it through and make a nice big loop. Don't worry, you'll be able to adjust it in a minute. We just don't want to have to interrupt our flow here. Big enough to go around you, yes. All right, so nice big loop. And then just lay it down where you can reach it. Take a breath here and just feel, notice at the beginning of class, we took a moment to notice the back. How does the back feel right now? Hopefully you're all giving me some thumbs up that it feels like it's been worked, but it feels good. All right, if not, message me after class, all right? Take one more breath here. And then take the knees wide apart and draw the feet in 6 to 10 inches away from your sit bones. Draw those feet in. When we say 6 to 10 inches away, a lot of times people get a little confused. You want to reach down and see, could I hypothetically touch my ankles, which might not actually be 6 to 10 inches, depending on your arm length, right? So we're trying to get the feet in nice and close. Stamp those heels into the ground and pull the knees energetically towards each other. Press the backs of the arms into the mat and inhale and lift up through the hips, finding a nice, easy bridge pose. Now you're welcome to stay here in this bridge, just pulling the knees together, pressing the energy from the hips out through the knees, which is a nice back release. Or you can start to shimmy the weight back and forth, bringing the shoulders underneath you, clasping the hands, rolling the heart up towards the sky, and taking this a little bit deeper. Take one more breath here. And then sweep one arm out, finding your block, and place that block on the middle height underneath your low back, letting it hold you right there. If you took that shoulder opener, then go ahead and let the shoulders flatten onto the mat. Now you want to feel nice and stable with that block underneath you. So you might try lifting one leg at a time and make certain that you're okay. You're not going to flip the block out. Find that spot where you're stable, all right? And then go ahead and pull the knees in towards the chest. I have not found my sweet spot yet. Once you get the knees comfortably in towards the chest here, you can go ahead and stretch the legs up towards the sky. Let the arms relax down towards the floor so you're in a waterfall position. This should be a nice release. If you're having a hard time finding the sweet spot where you feel stable, just take the block to a lower position. Your belly is pulling in towards your spine to help hold you steady here. And then the weight of your legs is just holding you here. You can let your eyes close and feel your body relaxing. Feel the blood, feel the lymphatic system beginning to drain through the legs. If you'd like to stay here, you're welcome to simply stay here for your Shavasana. If you kind of like this, but it feels a little intense, go ahead and bend your knees, and this is where your strap comes in. You might want to bring your feet down to the floor, come to the lowest level of your block. Bring the knees in close to the chest and wrap that strap around the legs, opening up into a nice big V pose. So we're doing Viparita Karni without a wall, legs up the wall without a wall, but the strap will hold your legs there. So you want that strap to be up around your shins. Yeah, there you go. And that way it'll hold the weight of your legs. And you can just let your mind relax, your body relax, and gravity in the strap will hold your legs right here. Let your breath deepen again. Now, if Viparita Karni is not your favorite pose, if waterfall doesn't do it for you, feel free. You can take the strap off and bring the legs down and come into a corpse pose or whatever pose suits you for your Shavasana. But if you liked that other alternative, feel free to stay there. As you settle into whatever your restorative, relaxing Shavasana pose will be for the day, I'd like you to focus again on the breath. Letting that breath get deep and even. And then we're going to lengthen that breath a little bit. So as you're ready, as that breath evens out, take a nice full inhale. Drop the jaw and exhale completely. 2 more times, settling in on your mat. And then letting go of any effort in the body. Simply relaxing and melting onto the mat. I'd like to share with you a technique for relaxing the monkey mind. I was having trouble sleeping last night, and I was reading about a technique. It's a Japanese technique, and it's called forest bathing. We can do it anywhere, anytime. We can do it right now. So I'd like you in your mind to conjure up, what's your happy place? Where is that place that when you are there, just soothes your soul? It can be your family room. It can be reading your kids a bedtime story. It can be the beach. Wherever it might be. And now in your mind's eye, I want you to begin to notice and name every detail of that happy place. If you're on the beach, notice the grains of sand under your toes. Notice the smell of the ocean around you. Use all 5 senses. See the blue sky above you. Feel the breeze on your skin. Paint a vivid picture with all 5 of your senses, bringing to life your happy place and allowing allowing you to rest and relax there. As you do this, if you're able to calm your mind and reside in that happy place peacefully, do so. If you find that your mind wants to keep wandering away from that happy place, simply start building that picture again using your senses. As you bring your mind back to your mat and to your body, away from that happy place, deepen the breath one more time and then drop the jaw, exhaling fully. And as you do that, begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. And then the wrists and the ankles join in. And draw the hands up over your chest, clasping the hands, flipping the palms up towards the sky. Rotate the arms overhead. And when you're ready, draw those knees in towards the chest, grasping the shins. If the back is a little tweaky again, feel free to roll side to side or to bring the chest and the head together. And when you're ready, roll to your right side and use your upper hand and your upper leg to easily press up, finding an easy seated position. Checking in on that back as you arrive at the top of your mat with your hands at your heart center. I want to thank you very much for sharing in this practice today, and I hope that you found ease on your mat and that your back is in a happy place right now, and that you can take that off of the mat and translate that into ease of motion as you move throughout your day. Again, thank you for sharing your practice and your presence with us this morning. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, everyone. Give me just a second and we will open up the microphones. Unmute all. There we go. Hello there. I did.
Hello.
How are we all doing?
Hello.
Oh, great.
It was great.
It was really good.
Good. Yay.
Needed
Any
that.
questions about any of those moves or anything that you had, questions arose?